Hey, this is the post-game pod. Ole Miss versus Missouri is wrapping up right now. It looks like Missouri is going to survive. A comeback by the Rebs came up empty. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast post-game pod.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, this is the post-game pod. I'm Stephen Willis. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Basically, what we're looking at is Ole Miss is cut it to 4 with 15 seconds left. They're trying desperately to come back from a game that they trailed by 20 points in the second half. This game is just like the other games. If you've seen one Ole Miss game this year, you've seen it all. Starts off well, you start to fight, you do whatever you have to do, then adversity hits, the other team goes on a 20-point run, the game is put away. And this game, Ole Miss is showing some fight at the end, but I don't know. It's one of those things that I don't really think a team comes back from 20 points down. Ask LSU about that. And because of that, I mean, it is what it is. This game is going to look like a lot better than it could have looked. With 15 minutes to go in the second half, Missouri was up by 20 points, and it just didn't look good. It didn't fit the good-looking element of this team. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. Do us a favor, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and of course, upvote the video. Football might be over for the season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, player performance props, to where to find where the next coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all of your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news for this season. It's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage and information. Head to the website today and use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Also, I want to tell you, this is the time of year that I've pretty much given up on all of my New Year's resolutions, but not this year. This year, I'm sticking to my resolutions to eat right thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you tried Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of the Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, they're not just a protein bar, they're a treat. And they're covered in 100% real chocolate. So Puffs are a fan favorite with incredible flavors, yummy cinnamon churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. So good, these are going to be a new favorite. All Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Yes, Puffs included 100% real chocolate. They'd be low calorie, high protein. Replace your candy bars with these. They're better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories. Go to Built.com, scroll down to the macros chart. You'll be blown away. High protein, low cal, high fiber, low carb. I mean, it's just great. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has about 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. So, here's the offer. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off Built.com. So this game is going to wrap up eventually. I'm not going to keep you too long tonight, but Missouri's going to pull this out because basically when a team gets up by 20 points in a game, to come back and make it interesting, that's great. But you have to, all of a sudden, you have no margin for error. You can come back, and if you win the game, you have no margin for error. Now, Missouri is, taking it back out to 8 points. There's 5 seconds left in the game. It's going to be a Missouri win after this shot. And it's going to be a Missouri win by 6 points or so. But the main thing tonight is Matthew Murrell, 15 points. Jarkel Joyner, really late, turned it on with 13 points. Wes Rodriguez actually had a pretty good game with 12 points. Missouri is 74-68 winner over the Ole Miss Rebels, by the way. Missouri had 5 players in double figures. They shot the ball pretty well, actually. Yeah, 53% from the field, 50% from three. This is after Alabama lit Ole Miss up to 60% plus and 68% from the free throw line. Ole Miss shot 50% from the fields. This wasn't a shooting fault. 22% from three and only 58% from the free throw line. So Missouri, the season sweep over Ole Miss, they deserved it. Like I said, this is the same game we've seen over and over and over and over and over again this season. It's like a broken record. Ole Miss basketball at this point is hard to watch. I'm not blaming this on Kermit. I'm really not. I could, and it's hard to watch, and I want to, react that way because that's kind of what you need to do in a situation like this, just for self-soothing satisfaction, other than admitting that Deshaun Ruffin and Robert Allen and those guys being injured are a severe detriment to this team, and it takes bullets out of the gun. Lots of people look at how good we are. We're a decent team when we were all clicking. We're not so much a decent team now. And, James, I think his name was Allen, the freshman or whatever. What's his name? I'll tell you. James White, I'm sorry. And, we did not see Eric Vanderheiden today. I'm curious about that. Was he a healthy scratch because of the matchup? Did he not play because he was injured or sick or something like that? I'm curious about finding out about that. James White, though, had 2 points as Ole Miss player. And offensively, he looks like the deal. He just does. I don't know how he fits in defensively. But like I said, this team was hard to watch and for this game, and you just want to see them turn the corner, and it's just no corner to turn, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's upsetting. It's just really upsetting. We're going to do our Monday show early before the Super Bowl tomorrow, and we're going to enjoy the Super Bowl instead of broadcasting the game or broadcasting a show right then. So it might be a little early. If something new happens, there might be an extra video in your future Monday. But Monday's show, we're going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about the new special teams coach, and we're going to talk about the defensive line in our post-spring package that we are doing. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk football because, hey, yeah, that's kind of the deal. This is always going to be an 80% football school. Understand that. So anything that is football is going to be extremely relevant, even over basketball, even over baseball. So enjoy that. But this basketball team, hey, the good news is, we're almost done. We've almost made it. And during the off season, we can get ready for next year. And if we get ready for next year and are healthy, and Deshaun Ruffin and Jamin Brakefield, I still say Jamin Brakefield is like Ansu Cisse. They're not developing him well right now. I don't know what's happening there. They're not. He's making the same mistakes he was making 2 months ago now. It's either him or the coaches or what's going on. I do not know. He has the ability to do it offensively. He has the want to with the number of kilometers. He's often the longest running player on Ole Miss's team. That might denote, though, a lack of efficiency that he plays with. I just don't know. But Missouri wins the game. Ole Miss, like I said, if you've seen one game this year, you can pretty much tell how it goes. Missouri used a 20-2 run to put the game away early between the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. You've seen it over and over and over again with this team, and there's not really any bounce back. Now, this is the problem. There's no quit on this team. That's a credit to Kermit. There is no quitting this team. But if they are making the same mistakes, and there's not a shot maker on this team. There's not. There's not somebody you can turn to. There's not a Devontae Shuler. There's certainly not a Terrence Davis or a Marshall Henderson or a Steph Moody or anything like that. There's nobody like that. You got a bunch of pretty good players that whenever things are going really well, they get really confident and get really good. But as soon as adversity strikes, there's nobody on this team that'll say, I got you. And that is the problem right now with Ole Miss basketball. Nobody is able to do that. And because of that, Ole Miss is losing game. Runs are continuing. And before you know it, the game is over early in the second half. And you might come back, you might not. It doesn't matter. That run just put the game away. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today. Like I said, tune in Monday for the Locked On Ole Miss podcast when we will talk about the defensive line, the special teams coach, and we have a baseball preview with Derek Vandegrift. So that'll be interesting. Tune in for that. But until then, stay strong and, of course, hotty toddy.